Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Thanks for tuning in to this Monday evening, March 9th, 2020. Let's get right into some space weather news before we head into tonight's program. We'll check out our solar wind speeds. Have kind of been hovering around the same all day today. Right now they're coming in at 347.4 kilometers per second. The density is down a bit, now down to 7.2. Earlier this morning, we were in the 12 to 13 values. Once again, sunspot number AR2758, sunspot number 13, is still relevant on our star. As you can see it here, kind of getting a little bit bigger here. And it appears that this was the sunspot, believe it or not. On March 8th, a low hum rippled through Earth's magnetic field. It lasted more than 2 hours and caused compass needles in the Arctic to wave back and forth 1/10 of a degree. Rob Stames recorded the event from his magnetic observatory in Norway. Now, this particular type of event from a sunspot happens usually during solar maximum. Now, keep your pants on out there. That doesn't mean the solar minimum's over or anything like that. Just a very rare situation here with the sunspot that is part of a new cycle, so it's to be expected at this point, but yet still in solar minimum conditions, not quite yet out of that, but we will see how long AR2758 will stick around. Also wanted to point out too, let me pull up the page here at SPACEWEATHER.com. Notice that in 2009 we had 260 days without sunspots, and in 2008 we had 268 days without sunspots. And I think it's worth pointing out that back in 2006 we were sitting at 70 days without spots, and then it grew to 150 without spots in 2007. So where do I think we are? Well, if you go 11 years from 2007, that's 2018, we finished with 221 days without spots. Then if you look at 2008, which was clearly the most days without sunspots in that minimum cycle with 268, well, we beat that with 281. So if things follow certain patterns and stretches here, we definitely are looking at 2020 with numbers that should rival 2009's total spotless days, right? I mean, according to the way the math is going here, that's what we get to expect. So, something to definitely keep our eyes on to see how 2020 shapes out. I've heard that we have several months of minimum solar activity to expect for 2020 before we start to see an active solar cycle 25. But again, let's reiterate that active solar cycle for 25, the peak for that is going to be much weaker of that we saw in cycle 24 when we had our solar max between 2013 and late 2015, early 2016. Things started to wind down towards the middle of 16 as we saw fewer days without sunspots, but it increased after that. Our KP indices are sitting at a 1 and a 24-hour max of 2, literally unchanged from this morning and the night before's KP indices. So almost a repeat. You always have to have an alert for a slight chance for seismic or volcanic activity on the increase, somewhere between the 6 point to 6.5 seismic-wise for earthquakes, and then volcanic. Usually we've been surprised a couple of times with a 25,000 foot ash plume or higher. So we'll keep our eyes open for that. Also, we have solar wind speed expected to affect Earth's magnetic field right around March 10th and 11th. So a little bit of light solar activity coming from our star. And when I mean light, I mean light. So nothing to write home about, no geomagnetic storms or anything of that sort to expect. And let's go over to thegrandsolarminimum.com, our website, and check out that planetary alignment, eh? Nonetheless, it looks like the party's on the other side of the sun. We weren't invited at this time. Solar activity, like I said, is low, and let's take a look and see if we have any more possible sunspots on the horizon. And looking at this, we might have something all the way on the backside of our star. Let's see if I can Lately here I've had the arrow doesn't show up until it's in the clouds for some reason.
I can fix that
you can
really
fix
quick.
That, can't you?
Very quick for you, Jake.
There we go. Thank you. This right here, this bright active region, all the way on the backside, this would be qualifying for solar cycle 25 sunspot if the poles were reversed, just like the one we have here in the southern part. So we will watch that, and right on the 30 mark too, guys, on both of these. Both of these are sitting right on the 30 marks. So again, not unusual to see. Sorry, the cat actually jumped on the chair, didn't she?
I thought you knew.
I felt something. So there was a time where I had a kitten above my head.
I put in the chat, I'm like, it's just Jake and a cat.
Just Jake and the kitten. Jake and the cat man. All right, so with that being said, sunspots appearing for solar cycle 25, that's 2 now, possibly. Possibly. We have to wait and see what this one here in the northern latitude is going to do when it breaks the eastern limb, but we could be seeing another sunspot within about 8 days or so. Right around as this one expires, we could be seeing one knocking on the door in the eastern limb, as this one is almost Earth facing. So we'll monitor this. This one might last for a couple more days, and we might have a few spotless days before we see this next one, or this might not amount to much at all either. So the beauty of our job here is we get to report on it and not speculate. All right, let's go to the watchers.news, guys. And I'm going to be upfront and honest with you tonight. Not a lot of things to really go over right now. We've all been exhausted by flooding stories all over the world. Now we're talking about late plantings. I didn't find a whole lot of that kind of talk tonight into our article searches, but I did want to mention a few things, and this one right here kind of caught my attention since we study the sun. Amateur astronomers discover a new type of rare pulsating star. And what first caught my attention was the fact that it was chemically peculiar star, said study co-author Dr. Simon Murphy from the University of Sydney's Institute for Astronomy. Stars like this are usually fairly rich with metals, but this is metal poor, making it a rare type of hot star. The star is about 1.7 times the mass of the sun and is located in the Milky Way, about 1,500 light years from Earth. Stars are known to pulsate, and even the sun displays this kind of activity due to hot gas whipping beneath the surface that causes oscillations. We know all about those thanks to Valentina Zharkova and her work. Pulsating stars are often similar in that a pulsating can be observed on all sides of the star until the discovery of this unusually teardrop-shaped star, as it appears to be pulsating only in one hemisphere of its surface. Interesting. We've known that theoretically the stars like this should exist since the 1980s, said co-author Don Kurtz, also inaugural Hunstead Distinguished Visitor at the University of Sydney from Britain's University of Central Lancashire. I've been looking into this star for nearly 40 years, and now we have finally found one. Researchers were also able to identify why this star was behaving in such peculiar manner. It was one of 2 stars in a binary system coupled with a red dwarf. In this case, the two stars orbit each other very closely, that they whip around each other in less than 2 Earth days. Given the proximity of the red dwarf's gravitational pull deforms the larger star's pulsations, distorting the star into a teardrop shape instead of the usual sphere. The astronomers were able to spot the star while looking for signals of planets around other stars. Many planets and exoplanets have been discovered to orbit the red dwarfs. Very interesting article here. You guys can check out the abstract for the paper that was submitted. Is also here at the bottom at watchers.news. A little bit, and really their website here lately, and I'll just show you real quick some of their headlines. All about space. Supernovas, neutron stars, and black holes break the rules. Researchers find more evidence of catastrophic cosmic impact 12,000 years ago. Asteroid 2020 DR4 flew past Earth in a 0.2 lunar distances. ESO study looks at impact of mega satellite constellations on space observations. Meteorite reportedly hits ground near railway station in Uttar Pradesh. So here lately, besides the one or two COVID articles, the Watchers has been very, very, very space heavy. If anybody has got a craving for some space news, they've got you covered here lately, doing excellent work here at Watchers .news. Well, you guys know this. I mean, heck, who doesn't know the Watchers by now, right? All right, so that does it for my GSM outside the box conversations. Unfortunately, tonight was a difficult night in locating articles and content that dealt solely on, GSM related things, climate, stuff like that. But this virus is really dominating every website, every news outlet, every piece of media out there has some kind of connection to this virus. And the AFP, the silver lining climate benefits of coronavirus, will be undone by economic stimulus packages. Yes and no. A very good point was brought up today, and I got Mari here alongside of me. If the government is going to, say, give us a stimulus package, and I don't know if you remember back in, I think it was 2006, when George Bush released a stimulus package to the American taxpayers, where they received extra funds aside from their tax returns. Back then, it was due to just the economic crash. We did the bailouts for the car dealerships and all that stuff, the car makers. So that money was definitely used to put into the economy. People went out and went to dinner with that money. They bought themselves a new TV. But I think it's going to be a little bit different because if they do give us a tax package, that money's really going to be used just to cover the bills.
It's pretty much going to, I would hope, cover people's rent and maybe some food rations.
Yep.
Or, I was thinking maybe they were going to do some, they have these systems in place for housing expenses and food stamps and that kind of stuff. I was wondering if they were going to use those systems sort of as a backbone, because it's obvious, looking at what's happening to these other countries, that it does and will paralyze the country for a period of time. And how do you recover that? Like, I almost think like there should be a pause, like almost like a financial pause, where there's some kind of agreement or package put together saying, okay, no one charges anyone anything for this amount of time frame.
Boy, that would get messy.
Exactly. Like, how complex is that? Like, how do you do that? How do you hit the pause button without crazy, reckless things happening? I don't have the answers. Our government doesn't have the answers. We're witnessing things that we've never seen before. That dog is being such a naughty girl tonight.
Well, and also to my point of this is that I don't think that whatever stimulus package is installed by governments around the world, I just don't think that it's going to be to the point where people are going to be running to the store buying new big screens and new TVs and new phones and all that stuff. And I'll read this real quick. It says, Paris AFP, economic shockwaves from the coronavirus outbreak have curbed carbon pollution from China and beyond, but hopes for climate benefits from the slowdown are likely to be dashed quickly, experts say. As governments prepare to spend their way out of this crisis, including with large infrastructure projects, global warming concerns will be little more than an afterthought, dwarfed by a drive to prop up shuddering world economies, they say. Preparations for Make or Break Climate Summit in November are already off track, with host Britain focused on its Brexit situation and the challenge to its health system of gathering epidemic. Now, what they're saying here in this is that any thoughts right now of cutting emissions to save the planet are on the back burner. What I mean by that is that people are going to be missing work and not purposely trying to reduce carbon emissions. Now, I want to show you guys something real quick. This is a satellite image from NASA. And in the orange is before the outbreak took over and before they shut things down in China. Look at the difference between the left and the right, guys. This is during the shutdown where everybody was quarantined. And this should give everyone a huge idea of the world's pollutant and how much pollution that this part of the world is actually contributing. But yet somehow the United States gets held responsible for all the pollution out there. But my point is that there are so many people out here trying to find a silver lining. Well, this is going to help climate change. Well, they're going to get tax breaks now, or now the government might install might install stimulus packages. Again, I know, folks, you're probably sitting there saying, why are we talking about this again? Mike, look at this. I'm on weather.com. Breaking: Port Authority chief has coronavirus. Markets plunge. Lockdowns possible. State Department warns about American cruise ships. Here's another one. A guy with his thumbs up. I have coronavirus. I'm sure and then now the bottom is rain ahead. When it's coming. How long will it last? No big deal. But then if you look at all the trending articles, coronavirus. The lonely weather map here at the bottom. All the really important weather stuff on weather.com is at the very bottom. How to get your family ready for a tornado season. That to me would be top priority. Here's what you should do during severe storm living in a home without a basement. That should be a top story right now. 4 reasons you should take a squall line seriously than a tornado warning. Again, so much important stuff down here at the very bottom, folks. And my point I'm trying to make is that for all of you out there who are upset that we continue to talk about Corona, we weave it into our programs, it's everywhere because that's everywhere right now. And that is the focus to a lot of people around the world right now. And let's go ahead and take a quick updated look at our Johns Hopkins tracker here. Not much has changed. We have reached the 4,000 mark on deaths. The United States cases, last I looked, was at 605. It remains at 605. What you pointing at, hon?
I think the top part of the map's cut off, so I don't think there's a way to remedy that, unfortunately.
Just moved it over a little bit.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
so
not really, but okay.
There's not much now. Okay. Places like Hawaii, New Zealand, Australia, starting to see cases pop up out there. The one in Hawaii only concerns me because it is an island, and if a horrible outbreak took place there, boy, would it take a little bit of time to get the necessary supply and help out to those folks. But here in the United States, looks like the West Coast and New York and the East Coast are the busiest spots. Now, this map is misleading. You move in, guys, and the closer you get, the more widespread these dots get. But we're starting to see a pattern here of where we are seeing the most cases. And if you look closer, these are well-traveled main cities of the United States. Near Tampa, Atlanta, Nashville, Louisville, Frankfurt, St. Louis, Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, New York City, D.C. now. These are all well-traveled parts of the United States. People are coming from all over the world and all over the United States as well. So this is proven to be now community spread. Testing has not yet gotten underway. There was money that was signed to fight this and to help fund this. That has not yet reached everyone just yet. But I have been told that over 1 million tests are to be released to state hospitals and medical facilities across the United States. Now, let's back this up a little bit. 1 million or so tests out of the 29 million population. Not everybody's sick. Not everybody needs this test. But it's important to remember that if we're sitting at 600 cases now without the mass majority of the people tested, expect bigger numbers. And I want to stress this. It's not that the coronavirus is a death sentence. What the big concern about the coronavirus is that it overwhelms public health facilities. It spreads so fast and so many people can get sick at one time. The worry is not that it's just going to kill you. It could kill you if you can't get any treatment. If you're older, if you have diabetes, heart condition, lung disease, if you're in they're saying 60 and higher with those underlying elements are at double the risk. I also read earlier, men from the ages of 49 to 80 over in China that had underlying health conditions also were at risk, but double the risk when you hit 60 and higher. But the big concern is that older population gets it all at once, and we can't get everyone in a hospital bed, or we can't get everybody the medicine they need or the treatment they need. That's where the concern is. It's not that we're trying to make a pissing contest between the flu and COVID-19. It's the fact of how fast this stuff has spread. Like Italy. I know Italy just in a week and a half jumped up from 200 cases to 9,172. There's 60 million people in Italy that are locked down right now because they don't want this to spread anymore.
And just because we're talking about it doesn't mean we're saying the sky is falling either, as some of the people are having a laugh with at the chat. And it doesn't mean that we're in panic mode buying stuff. It's a good speaking, but this community is already full of preppers. You got to understand that. And we're using this as a platform to sort of assess our own prepping and how to revise it. Challenges. We had a pretty good discussion with our call-in show last week. Look at what you always do to me, Jake. Distracting. But the biggest concern is definitely the healthcare system being overrun. Our doctors and nurses suffering from exhaustion and sickness. And here's a simple math equation that people just don't seem to get. Okay, you don't think the virus is a big deal. But there is a certain percentage. I've seen it from 50%, 60%, 70%. Let's go for the lowest. Let's go 40%. Let's say 40% of the people get this coronavirus. You do the math for your city and tell me what you come up with in the comments.
Sure. I'll tell you what, Mari. Let's go ahead.
I'm not done talking, Jake.
Sorry, go ahead.
Don't let me lose my train of thought. Okay, so do the math. This is a simple math problem I want you to figure out. Take your city population, and then let's say a median percentage. Let's say 50% of the people in your city get the virus because it's very contagious. And then take that number and figure out what 20% is, because that 20% is the people on average that require hospitalization. And then I would ask you to go look at your hospital beds for your city and let me know how many hospital beds that are in that hospital. And then also consider how many ventilators and how long term these people are going to be in the healthcare system to recuperate, to be on ventilators. We simply do not have enough resources as a country to handle this virus. So isolation and quarantine are so important. And unfortunately, I haven't seen a country get it right with handling this.
Well, that's because,
do that math problem, please, and let me know what your result is in the comment.
Well, I'll tell you, it's hard to take government officials serious. Mari crafted a clever clip today. I'm going to play it for everybody. Stand by.
What else do you do? Make your own hand sanitizer? Can you do that? You should be governed. Open the curtain, please. We are introducing New York State Clean hand sanitizer, made conveniently by the state of New York. This is a superior product to products now on the market. The World Health Organization, CDC, all those people suggest 60% alcohol content. Purell, competitor to New York State Clean, 70% alcohol. This is 75% alcohol. It also comes in a variety of sizes. It has a very nice floral bouquet.
I don't know if it would.
Little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Okay. Making it in the state of New York. Corecraft actually is making it, and take your questions. But I am a man of my word.
Take your questions.
Here's your prize. Please come on. This is a collector item. This is you can't use it. It's because it's a collector item. It's more valuable. You can sell this on eBay in about 10 years. It is not great after 10 years, no.
Okay, I don't understand what's so damn funny here. I don't understand why this is such a joke. Mari, I think that music was proper.
What did I do when I first watched this, Jake?
Well, she left the room, first of all. But secondly, listen, this is why I have a hard time believing government officials that, they want to try to make light of this. They want to joke about this during the day. This is earlier this morning. And later in the day, it's not such a joke when the entire country of Italy is shut down. 60 million plus people are now under lockdown and asked not to leave their homes.
Also, to that math equation, I'm going to jump on what Cheryl said. You got to take in consideration that about 65% of the hospital beds in the United States are already in use. So you can add that. I mean, do the math with what the equation is I gave you, but also understand that there's already people get in car accidents, have heart attacks, have cancer, blah, blah, blah. Lots of variables.
Good point, Doug. We're just reading some of the comments in the chat, and I'm over here with my hand over my face. Look, Mari's got us washing our hands every 20 minutes out here. But that's not the point.
I'm such a pain in the butt about that, aren't I?
He says, I hear radio hosts suggesting to avoid touching the faces. I keep wondering what's really going to help. It's an airborne virus.
I got something to say. I'd like to thank Matt Bros. I don't know if you saw it earlier. He gave a super chat to get you a fake beard to help you out.
Well, you didn't spend that much.
I love this baby face to help him. Spare him from germs.
Anyway.
You're not the only person who's shaving their facial hair to prevent germs. You're high risk, so,
Jeez. So, Matt, what am I supposed to do with a $3? Actually, that's after YouTube takes what they take, it'll be $1.70. So what am I? What kind of a beard am I supposed to buy?
I will shave the dog.
That?
I can shave the dog, and I'll weave one myself with a roll of tape, and then we'll fix it to your face with duct tape.
We're getting way off track here. The point I'm trying to make here with this video, and thank you, Mari, for making this video too. This to me seems like something out of a Batman movie with the Joker brokering a deal with the city. I mean, am I right? Does this not feel like it's comic bookish, where this is Gotham City and the Joker is running politics here in Gotham City?
It seems like a bad dream. Like, I was watching this on my phone, and when he had two men pull aside the curtains, and because I'm sitting here anxiously as a New Yorker who lives in a school district, who has two people in quarantine right now with no results or tests done. And they are making these kids go to school still, even though there's two people in quarantine that have had contact with two of the schools in the area. Actually, there's another school district that's affected as well. And they want these kids to go to school. They didn't say, hey, shut down the school, disinfect, and then have the kids come in. We'll wait it out a day, see how it goes. They didn't do that. They just said, by the way, parents, we're open. We have 2 cases we're watching in quarantine. send your kids on in. So this morning when this came out, I'm sitting there anxiously waiting to hear something serious. And he opens up his whole statement with this circus act, pulling the curtains back with two men and having this display of New York disinfectant. All New Yorkers, doesn't matter what side you're on, should be offended and just outraged that our government is acting this way with such a serious issue that has been proven in other countries to just cause major disruptions, loss of life, and just anguish all around, worldwide. It's unreal.
So that's our piece tonight on the coronavirus, as it's probably, we're already sworn off of YouTube for reporting this. But
Probably.
Still, guys, just to prove a point, though, I was just trying to let you know that really there was nothing a lot to talk about. All the websites are dominated with coronavirus content. So tonight we said we went with the flow. Let's just talk about it a little bit. But there is some good news on tonight's program, and that is right here. Go to solargsm.com. This is now where Valentina Zharkova's research and her staff page will be located. And in fact, I'm going to let Mari kind of take over at this point until she can give a better explanation. Mari has been on the horn with Valentina all day today, working on this site. Mari, why don't you go ahead and tell us what's going on here, what's happened, and what's going to be happening in the future.
Yes, as you know, her paper got retracted. She's been sort of bullied by everyone in the science community, mainly AGW people. And scroll up. Yeah, there you go. And this morning, I woke up to a message that says, Mari, help! And I'm like, uh-oh. And I found out that the school took down her page. She had a solar physics and kinetics, kinetic energy page. And she's just like, she has no voice. The school took it down. And she's just asking me for help. So basically what she's done now, last year we had a fundraiser for her, and we as a community were able to raise about 11,000, just shy of, I don't know, $1,100. And this has allowed Valentina to buy her domain name and hosting. And I'm putting in my work as a web designer for free for her. And luckily I had a backup of her old site from the school server, and I have all of her files, and I am transferring everything on her own host with her own domain name. It's going to be set up as a blog, so she'll be updating it as frequently as she wants. I'm not sure if she's going to use it in any other type of ways. I'm going to offer suggestions for her whole team to have access to it if they want to publish articles. We're going to see how it evolves. But right now it's under construction. I'll be clear with that. This is just what I was able to put together today in salvage from what's been lost. And they did this to her actually while she was traveling. She just did a conference in Texas, and she just got back into England today. And I hate the fact that she's traveling right now with all this, but that's a whole nother story. So bottom line is we're working on developing this as her platform and a way for her to communicate with her following without any interference from the powers that be that want to dictate her message, her research, and everything. And she has all kinds of stuff loaded, ready to go for this site, but we're not 100% ready to get it out there yet. She has responses to the retracted paper and all that. There's a lot more ahead when it comes to what Valentina is doing. She is not a quitter. She's not going to let this hiccup stop her from her research. And a big thank you for those that donated to her GoFundMe fundraiser last year, because you guys made this possible for her to have her own platform, which is awesome.
And that was part of the big news today, and a lot of the reason why I had the late start this morning. I wanted to make sure Mari had the workstation to do what she needed to do with Valentina's website. So it is an honor to be on the level with Valentina, to be able to help her in this situation. Again, Mari and Valentina were going to build a website a long time ago, and that's why the backup was even around in the first place. Thankfully, Mari had done this back on a project she was working on for Valentina back then. So this all kind of came out of nowhere, and luckily we were in the right place at the right time to be able to help Valentina out now and in the future. So again, visit the website solargsm.com. This is Valentina Zharkova's official work page, I guess we could say.
Research page, I guess. It's still in development.
This was the same information that was available on her school website.
Right now, it's basically what we've put up there is just the same information that was on the school site that got taken down. The links, however, I still, it's under construction. I have loads to move over. I can't update some of the broken links until I upload files onto the server and sort of redo that. So I'll be working on that tomorrow and getting that in good shape for her. So it's an honor. That's all I have to say to that.
Absolutely.
And it's a pleasure to be able to work with her this closely with such a topic I'm passionate about.
Well, and I'm just, we've talked to Valentina a couple times. She's a big part of the foundation of our education here for Grand Solar Minimum. And, it's just an honor to be able to help her out in a time of need. This is what it's all about, folks. We got to stand up for each other. We got to be there and support each other when one comes under attack. We've seen so many times where this community tries to get divided up by other people who think that their theory is right and they should have the only platform for that topic. But there's so many different things to consider out there. And I just think it's important to have an open mind as well when it comes to Grand Solar Minimum. But like I said, it's almost like starstruck right now. Like Valentina, John Casey, those are our two top admirers as far as this community goes. And the fact that we get a chance to work with her side by side and help her, transmit her research and get it out there to the public. Again, it's truly an honor. We'll keep you guys updated on the website. Again, that is solargsm.com. That is Valentina Zharkova's official research page. All right, let's take a look at a little bit of weather before we head off tonight. This is just going to be brief GFS outlook for the, foreseeable future here in the next 2 weeks. Nothing amazing here. We're just going to go quickly over this. We got lots of rain on the way here into the northeast, all the way through the Ohio Valley. By Wednesday, March 11th, this system will be moved out. Some colder air in the northeast and in the northern plains. But this is not going to produce any kind of major snows. We're going to see a lot more rain than we are snow. Some colder air to invade the northwestern and the Rockies and the northern plains by the 16th of March. But other than that, the cold winter is going to stay in the Plain States, the Rockies, the Great Lakes, and on the Canadian side of this. But we're going to mainly see quite a bit of rain in the south, in the northeast. And you see here a couple different times where this GFS wants to show us a rain-snow mix. That just means temperatures are going to be on the border of freezing and above freezing, and temperatures lately have been well above freezing, so the ground is not quite as frozen. Ponds are thawing out here. Snow is almost completely gone right now. So I gotta believe that, this is not indicating a warm stretch by any means. This is just indicating some raw, nasty spring weather here, that 30s, 40s type temperatures, nothing real enjoyable. Unless you live in the Midwest and the South, you're going to see warmer and pleasant temperatures. But with that, we're also going to see another week-long stretch of rain. And let's go back to the beginning of the week. Here we are Tuesday, rain in the south through Wednesday. Again on Thursday, again on Friday and Saturday, more rain in the south. More rain again to affect the south on Monday. into the Tennessee and Ohio River Valley as well into Tuesday. More rain coming in from the Gulf through Texas, through Louisiana, Minnesota. Another heavy batch by next Thursday. So, I mean, really, if you live in Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Western Tennessee, and Western Kentucky, these are going to be the areas that we're going to watch the most as far as flooding. We're already starting to see reports on Facebook, the backwater flooding once again in the Delta happening. Not much change from where they were last year this time either. So very heartbreaking to see that the problems that they had from last year appear that we're going to continue to see those same issues again this year for right before plant as well. All right, Mario, would you like to say goodbye to everybody before we take off tonight? I don't want to say hi because you've already said hi.
Well, thank Matthew for the GSM cookie.
Thank you for the cookie, Matt. Thank you for the $1.70 beard. I can't wait.
We'll get you. I will fashion something. I will for you. Next, should we have it ready for next show?
We do have a long-haired dachshund, so that could work. She has black hair, so let's give her a nice bath before we do it.
I could do some My Little Pony things with Lily stuff.
That's gonna do it for us tonight, folks. Thank you for tuning in to the Grand Solar Minimum. Mari, thank you once again for explaining to what's going on with Valentina's side, and thank you for your hard work on helping her getting back on track. Thank you.
Lots more to come with that. I'm really excited for her. I'm glad she's not getting knocked down and she's staying strong.
Me too. All right, guys, have a great night, and we will talk soon. Take care, everybody.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.